Hi guys, it's Diana Peffley, and I had a message come to share with everybody about um, about the energy of love, and ooh, I'm loving that sunbeam, but then it's like off focus. Well, anyways, self-love boundaries. We're like taught those as children, and anybody who's experienced like mental abuse or an emotional abuse, your self-love boundaries are off, and you might have had people tell you you're nothing, tell you you're not worthy, or they didn't know their worth, so they didn't even communicate with you anything, because they were caught in their pain. I'm talking about like your parents or whoever reared you. So just know that like self-love boundaries are essential. So someone can only disrespect you if you let them. They can only abuse you if you let them abuse you. You can only continue to hurt yourself if you choose not to be conscious and make the changes necessary. Um, uh, Looking for the ultimate love is the love for self, and not ego, not a place of ego, um, uh, of true self-worth and knowing your values. It's like so essential. And recognizing patterns, it's called pain bodies, but patterns. Okay, for instance, I'll use an example. A girl getting molested or a child getting molested while they're young, and then when they get older, they come back and they're promiscuous, and people want to judge the girl for being promiscuous, or the guy, or um, or for them being gay, uh, and it's deeply rooted to a pain body, a pattern that was gifted to them. And so, and it sounds like not right saying gifted, but like in our pains and in our struggles comes gifts. So you might get this gift of from mental abuse. You might get this gift of resilience, of having the power to like block out negative forces, negative energies trying to tell you, because that's what mental abuse, it can either like hold you down or it can push you into resilience. But then sometimes when you have people around you that are trying to help you heal, it can also allow you to block them out also. So, and finding the balance of messages coming through, like we have these self-love boundaries we have to draw, but then also being able to be a great student and listen to others around you who like coach you well, or if someone says one message and you're kind of feeling that, that's two messages. That's not one, that's two. So if your intuition's telling you one thing and then someone speaks it, that's your creator force within you speaking to you. And whether you choose to listen is the key with us humans, is choosing to listen and choosing to make those changes, and not letting the ways of the world change us, like hold us down. We have to change ourselves. Like Bob Marley, that's one of my favorite quotes of his, is don't let the ways of the world change you or rearrange you. Just because someone's acting out of jealousy or being ugly or abusive, don't let them pull you down to their frequency. Because how you hold your thoughts and your peace, that's a frequency. It's an energy. And by letting someone come in and disrupt your frequency, it lowers your aura, it lowers your energy, and it gives the dark forces more power of influence. So it's up to us to hold our lights. We have got to hold our lights, but you got to learn your pain bodies. You got to see your pain, see what you've experienced, see the pattern, and be willing to acknowledge it, accept it, and make the necessary changes. Like, seriously, it's not easy. It is not fucking, excuse my language, it's not easy. I cuss a lot, so forgive me. It's not easy. The healing process, it's not. But if you're open to it and you self-edify, self-edification is, I'll use an example. I'll see something in my son, but it's a pattern of myself, and or say I'm angry at him, and I'm snappy with him, and I come back and I realize, oh, wait a second, that was me. It wasn't him and what he's doing, it was me. So I have to go back and say, son, actually, you know what, that was me, and I'm sorry. And when you do that, that's self-edification. And no matter how the other party responds, it's all ultimately up to us and how we edify ourselves. We hold ourselves, we recognize things, we accept things, and moving forward in love and light. Like, love frequency is the energy that, like, some of the greatest messiahs on the planet, one, for example, Jesus, another Buddha, another Muhammad, is unconditional love. We like to set up these boundaries of separation, and we're all one consciousness. We are all one. We are one love. Like, we're one frequency. We want to separate us, but we can't. We're like divine beings. We all have these separate, we have these different traits and these different looks and different perspectives and different experiences, but we're actually a collective of one source. And when we put all bullshit aside of boundaries and labels and judgments, and we reach out to our brothers and sisters, that's the walk. That's doing the walk. And when you walk every day and you reach your brothers, you reach your sisters, and all the beings on the planet, you walk and hug. You're not scared to hug a stranger. You're not scared to go buy someone homeless a meal. You're not scared to go hug a drug addict on the corner. You know they're a drug addict. But knowing that God is all forgiving and God's within us, Creator Source is within us. It's the only temple on earth that is not made by man's hands. And the temple is right here. Our temples, that's our temple. That's our creator force. And when we see that, and we see that in ourselves, and we walk this planet and practice it, this planet's going to be a way better place. So I'm asking my fellow friends and brothers and sisters on this planet to, like, really self-reflect, and self-healing is huge. Self-edification. When you fix yourself, the world will become a better place. When we fix ourselves, the world will become a better place. It doesn't take us fixing people outside of us. Now we have to stand. You're going to have to stand in your light and say no more to darkness, to abuse, to molestations, to molesters, to we're not here to allow them to do it. It's time to stand, guys. It's time to stand. But it's time to love. It's time to reach. This is what greats we're talking about, from JFK, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X came back. He came back from Mecca, and that's, he saw everybody together as one. And the Beatles to Lenny Kravitz, like there's a lot of warriors on this planet for love, and it's time to step into it, guys. Step into it. Put your bullshit aside, because our human condition is what's got us in this. Like we've hurt our planet. We've held our planet down, and our planet's gonna leave some people in the dust. So I'm asking everybody to self-edify, and it's not me. It's a message coming through me. To self-edify, self-love, set new self-love boundaries. You recognize one's off, set it. If someone doesn't like it, they're not your frequency. If someone does not, the sun rays a trip. If they don't like it, they're not meant to be there with you. And accepting burning, the phoenix rose from the dust. Accept that rebirth. And it might be lonely. This is a time of loneliness. We're resetting. Those who are chosen and called, you're resetting. Everybody's resetting. And some people might be getting their ass whooped like they're in a fucking washer. Wrung and spun until they do right. Because that's what's going to happen. If we don't figure out in this lifetime and we don't fix it now, you're going to be stuck in a karmic wheel for a long time. So it's time to step into your light and choose light. Do right. Do righteousness. It's simple. We all know, like, that message is inside us. It's inside us intuitively and naturally. And we know. And so listening to that. And if you've experienced abuse, your scale is off on your judgment. So you're taught to not accept yourself, like not to not believe in your intuitive self, and it makes you question it. And then you come back and you say, damn, my intuition told me to do that. But because you've been trained to not trust yourself, or been programmed by society's thoughts instead of listening to your oneness thoughts, you come back and reflect and see that it was actually a truth in you. So just recognizing, it's time to lift and shift, guys. Like, I'm ready to gather us and bring us together in one love, like this judgment and racism and separation and bigotry and it's time to put that shit down. It's time to put that shit down. It's time to make changes. It's time to help our brothers and sisters. And it, follow your gut. It doesn't mean to go let someone who's on the street corner live in your home and then something bad happen to you. No. You have to have self-love boundaries. That's where your self-love boundaries like kick in, you know. And there's no more self-sacrifice. Like, if it's going to benefit someone else more than you, and then you're stuck in a struggle, that's where you have to draw the line. Like, okay, you know, you have to draw the line with that. So we have to help all of our beings and help our brothers and sisters. But how we're going to help our brothers and sisters is healing ourselves and being able to recognize and share. Because if you open up to someone about a molestation or about an abuse or something negative, that happened to you, you might prevent a young girl who's 11 or 12, or be able to coach her and teach her, or a young man, to teach them how to prevent going through what you went through. And that's why we go through things, is to come back and teach, to come back and share. We can let it hold us down and have it the power of it to kill us, or we can, it's just like the power of the tongue. It can either like heal us or kill us. So I highly suggest people start speaking. It's time to speak. It's time to speak. It's time to self-edify. It's time to recognize your pain bodies. A really good, how I learned of that, I acknowledged it and saw it at a young age, like in my early 20s, like 21-ish. And I learned the proper term from reading Eckhart Tolle's, I think it's A New Earth. It was gifted by at the time she was a very, very, we had a really good bond, but now things are different. But yeah, it's a really good book that can help you like understand your pain bodies and the process our earth is going through and what we're going through. It's some intense stuff, and a lot of changes are happening from people being exposed on a lot of sexual stuff from like lots of things are getting exposed right now. And I just want to share about self-edification and listening to your intuition and new self-love boundaries. So blessings to you all, and get out in the sun. The sun has some badass sun codes that are helping repair our DNA. Also, frequency meditation is huge. Like I'll share more of my story down the road. I know if you guys have seen my Facebook, you guys know a little bit about what I just like had to escape from and stuff. But the sun codes coming through are like super powerful healing. And I'll share some of the part of the healing process of say you notice you acknowledge, say you're denying a part of yourself because of a pain of a rape. And there's a part of that rape you don't want to acknowledge. And so that period of time in your life is like deleted or you don't want to acknowledge it. So you can't acknowledge like yourself to the core. So whatever your birth name is, like mine's Diana Marie. I wasn't acknowledging Diana Marie. I just wanted to be acknowledged as Earth. But Diana Marie is the one who saved my life. And I had to acknowledge myself and come back down and face some things that were not pleasant to face. Some pains that were not pleasant. But when you go like directly into your pain is what pushes you into your purpose. That's why I like love frequency. My choice to stand for love, like unconditional love, no matter what color you were. That my thing was, I dated outside my race, and it was a big ordeal. And from one moment, I went from a good kid to a bad kid, and just by letting a black man comb my hair. And like my parents have cleared this up. It's been forgiven. It's been communicated about, acknowledged about, so I don't want you guys to think that my parents are some prejudiced people, because, they were just acting out of a small town ignorant mind. Small town ignorant frickin' mindset. So, and they knew better. They just reacted differently. But my choice to stand for love gave me a strength and gave me like this stand of, no, I choose love. Now, I did end up in a messed up situation down the road, but it's just because of my pain body. I repeated a cycle of pain body. So parents, be very careful what you speak over your children. You can speak that shit into existence. Don't tell them they're not shit. Don't tell them. You've got to teach them I am greatness. You got to show them their greatness. You got to see your greatness first, but you got to show them. So parents, don't fuck your kids over. Don't you brought them into this planetary existence. Don't tell them they're not shit. Anyways, that was kind of a tangent. But love frequency and being pushed into my purpose. It's pushed me into walk the planet and hug people and love people and see through. Like, I don't see the skin. I mean, I see it and I'll think it's beautiful or whatever, but it's not about our color, man. It's about our spirits. There's good energy and those who have lacked the right amount of love, which has caused them to be a part of the dark side. When I say dark side, I mean to not choose to be of one consciousness. So it's time to wake up. It's definitely time to wake up. So I hope that this has helped you. I know I jumped around a little bit, but it's just a message coming straight from Creator Source through me. I was told, somebody doesn't want me to do this video. Oh shit. But anyways, I was told by the Kiowa tribe. I was named by them in November. I got the call at 7:07 on November 7th. So if you're into numerology, that's some powerful stuff right there. That's some godly numbers. And I was told that I have a special calling, and which I've known this, but it was an honor to hear that from one of the last standing tribes, one of the last standing nomadic tribes, and he told me I had to not withhold my messages. So when I have messages, I have to share them, and sometimes it's not fun to share them because sometimes it's like hugs and good, and then the other times it's warnings like, sir, you need to God says you need to make changes, and God says you know what you need to do. So I'm just sharing some of my gifts with you guys, and if anybody needs assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'll do my best to just share my knowledge or whatever messages that come to me. But bless you guys on your journey, and have a blessed day.